Hello everybody and welcome to another video. Today I will be recycling Christmas cards, which is my favorite thing to do. If you're new here, welcome to my channel. I hope you like it. Subscribe and hang out with us for a while. And if you're returning, welcome back. I appreciate you. Today I will be recycling these two Christmas cards. I received both of them in recent Happy Mail from a swap or a wish that I was in. So I hope you enjoy them, and let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to start with this one, and I'm going to use a regular standard card, A2 size card. It measures 5.5 by 4.25. And if you want the tutorial on how I cut my cardstock, how I score it and fold it, check out the sketch number 17. I spend some time discussing that. So this is a kind of a shimmery cardstock in like an off-white color, a pearl color. That's what I was looking for. I bought a whole pack of this at Ollie's Outlet. It was very inexpensive, and I use it for card bases or to back up or to mat a card. I thought that would go pretty with this card. So I decided I would use the focal image, and which is this. I want the gazebo, and I want as much of the sleigh as I can get. So I'm going to focus my cutting around this part of the card. I might have to cut off a little bit of the roof, but I don't think that's going to matter as much. So what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to cut the front of the card off as usual. I always like to use the paper trimmer to cut the top of the front of the card off, just so I have a nice squared base to work from. And while I'm at it, I'm going to go ahead and cut out the sentiment from the inside. I always like to check the back and make sure I'm not cutting off anything special. And I'm going to trim this piece. I'm going to put that in my scrap paper drawer because I may need it for something. That's why I wanted to cut the edge of that evenly. This card is made out of a very nice feeling cardstock. It would be nice to stamp on, I think. It's a good quality cardstock, I think. All right, so I want to salvage as much of the sleigh as I can. So I'm going to start by cutting it, just cutting the card up to the back of the sleigh as far as I can, and still leaving that image. And then I'm going to trim off a little bit off the bottom, right up to the bottom of the lower blade of the sleigh. So I'm going to try to keep this corner. I'm going to measure and see how I can do it. I'm not going to waste any room on the back by adding an additional mat. I'm just going to have that paper show through. So the card is 5.5 by 4.25. Okay, I could do 4 1/8 and just cut off the top of the gazebo, which is okay. And if I make it 5 3/8, I guess I could have cut it a little more to the right, but that's okay. How about if I cut it at 5 1/4 and leave a little more of a mat? I'm concerned about having a half a cardinal in there. So let me go with 5 3/8. Oh, that would leave the whole cardinal in the picture, so that's good. So I'm going to cut this at, let me go 5 3/8. I might take an 1/8 of an inch off. So that leaves the whole cardinal there. And then I'm going to cut this at 4 1/8. And that just takes the very top of that off. What if I did it? Yeah, I don't want to take the bottom of the sleigh off. Okay. Oh, it's going to take the cardinal off if I do it at 4 1/8. I'm going to do it at 4, take the whole cardinal off, and I'm going to do this one at 5 1/4. There we go. So that's what we have left of that card, and that leaves an 1/8 of an inch border all the way around. I think it still looks really good. And then I'm just going to adhere it down on the back. Just use my tape runner. There we go. And I'm going to add a little bit of bling to this card. As you can see, the Christmas tree has some lit up Christmas lights, and I thought it would be pretty to add some Christmas lights to the outside of the gazebo. I have this sheet of little bling. I think they're 3mm bling, and it comes in all different colors. I ordered this set on Amazon, and I will link it below. It came in a multi-pack of all kinds of colored bling, and it comes in these little strings of adhesive, and it makes it really easy to use. So I'm just going to put this right around the gazebo as if they were Christmas lights. And I think I will put some, I'll probably put some right up the side. Let me get a longer piece. I'll put a little bit on the roof of the gazebo as if they decorated that with lights as well. And that way that kind of hides the very top that I cut off. And I think I will put a piece along here, and then one piece coming down this way. There we go. So we have some lights on the gazebo roof just to add a little bit of pizzazz to the card. And I might add a little bit on the sleigh. I think on the sleigh I'm going to use some red bling. So I have some bling that is solid red, and I'm going to go ahead and just put it around the sleigh. I try to use up my little pieces whenever possible. There we go. So we just have a little bit of bling on the sleigh. That looks kind of pretty. All right, well, that card I'm going to call done. That was super easy and super fast. Then I have this card. And this card is quite interesting. It opens like that. So I'm going to make this into a regular type of card, but in 3 dimensions. Actually, I forgot to put my little sentiment on the inside of this card, so let's go ahead and do that before I move on to the next one. I have this blue cardstock that I thought would go well with that, so I'm going to use just some of my art glitter glue. No, not art glitter glue. This is Elmer's glue in an art glitter glue bottle with a fine metal tip. And I love it. It works, I think, very similar to the art glitter glue. I don't notice a difference other than the tip does not clog as easily as it does with art glitter glue. I've never had to take that fine metal tip off and do any kind of maintenance to it. With art glitter glue, I used to have to take it off, soak it in hot water or in alcohol or acetone, nail polish remover, something to get the glue out of the fine metal tip every so often. But I've not had to do that with the Elmer's yet. There we go, and I just have the sentiment on the inside. So that card is done. Now let's get to this card. This card is a little bit bigger, so I'm going to use one of my pre-made 5x7 card bases, and it's this pretty red color, has a little bit of texture. I thought it would go pretty good with it. I have limited colors available, so the red was the closest. So for this card, I want to keep it lined up, and I want to cut the fold off. So what I'm going to do with this is just take a piece of painter's tape. I stuck it on my clothing and pulled it off so it's even less tacky. I'm going to take the ribbon from that tag and move it over because I don't want it to get in the way. And then I'm just going to trim off the edge of this card. There we go. And then I need to decide how wide I want the card. I probably do need to take a little bit off of each edge and probably more off of this right edge because we have this tag over on this side. So I'm going to trim it down on that right edge. And it's 5x7, so I want to make it 4 7/8. I'm going to make it 5, and I'm going to trim 1/8 of an inch off the other side. And then I'm just going to take 1/8 off the other side. I didn't want to take too much off of one side. There we go. Now I can take this tape off because I do want to trim. Actually, I think I'll leave that tape on there for a second. I want to fold that up out of the way. Because I want to trim the sentiment out of this card. With this front over it, you're not going to see down into where the sentiment is anyway, and I want to use the sentiment on the inside of the card, so I'm going to go ahead and cut it out. So first I will cut right below it, and then I will cut right above it. And then when I fold that back over, you won't even be able to tell. I'm going to save this piece because It looks like wood grain and it's really cool. I'm going to trim this on each side. And I think I still need a little bit off of one of the sides. I'm going to take a little bit more off of this side, get that bow out of the way. Let's see how that looks. Okay, that is better, much better. Now I'm going to take the front off. And I have this funny little piece here, which I'm going to trim off with my scissors, just to kind of make it round. There. So that just looks like it's meant to be like that. I'm going to start by taking this piece and adhering it to the top of the card just like that. I'll use my tape runner. It's a nice big shape and it's fast and easy. Okay, and I reworked that bow a little earlier. The bow was kind of very crooked before. I kind of re-tied the bow. So then I'm going to take this piece and decide kind of where I want it. I do want all of the Merry Christmas to show. So I think I'm going to want it like that. I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to use my pencil and just make a little mark. I'm going to trim it a little bit to the inside of that pencil mark to leave some room for matting. So that's what I have there. Very cute. I'm going to take this and I'm going to put some foam tape up at the top here. First, I've got that other little spiky piece there that I'm going to cut off. Kind of make that a rounded edge. Clean up this edge a little bit more too. Okay. I'm only going to put the foam squares up along the top of this card. And then I'm going to run my tape runner down the other edges. because the whole thing does not really need to be popped up off of the background. It just needs to be popped up off at the top. I'm going to go ahead and line this up with one edge and with the bottom. There we go. And push that down at the bottom. So there we have, you can see the 3D effect at the top, but it's not making the whole card bulky at the bottom. And I'm going to take some bling and add it to this down at the bottom, this wood grain. Just to give it some extra bling, just a little extra punch. A little extra glue down there. Okay. So that just added a little bit of punch down at the bottom. One of these blings does not have foil on the back. So let me take that piece off. If it doesn't have foil on the back, it looks completely clear and it doesn't have that pretty silver look to it. There we go. Much better. And we have some red foil at the top. There's some glitter on here. There's some foil on the cardinal and on the Christmas ball. So it looks really pretty and glittery. So we have these two recycled Christmas cards. Oh, first maybe I should put, I don't know why, but when I film, I always forget to add some goodies to the center. I have this left over from a red Christmas card, so I'm going to go ahead and back it onto that. I like to use my scraps whenever possible. There we go. All right, I like the way that turned out, and I also like the way this one turned out. Thanks again, everyone, for watching. I do appreciate all of you. If you haven't yet checked out my Facebook group, Create with Crafteria, I'd love it if you did. And also check out my Patreon. The link is below. I have 5 different tiers of goodness for you over there, and then my Patreon subscribers get a sneak peek, early access to my videos without any ads. Thanks again, everybody, for watching. Please do give this video a thumbs up, click that subscribe button, and leave me a comment below. Let me know what you think. Let me know which card is your favorite. Thanks again for watching, and until the next video, you know what to do. Go get crafting. Bye-bye.